I can't help but drink in the excitement and the anticipation that I sense from you. And it's electric. Even now, after 4 days of speeches and workshops and all the other stuff you've been doing, I remember having that same feeling when I was in your place. But I also remember when the realization hit me that as a governor, I was not normal. People join Rotary for a variety of reasons: friendship, business contacts and advice, fun, prestige, a vehicle to work in their community, maybe even a vehicle to work in the world community. To the vast majority, Rotary was just a simple little club they joined in their own community. They do not bleed blue and gold like you and I. And predictably, what are we doing here this morning? We're analyzing how we can describe ourselves so we can attract more people to our organization and keep them. This morning, you heard from Brad Howard that there is a simple answer to the question of what's Rotary and why anyone should care, those simple essences of brand. Rotary is leaders who share ideas and take action. And John Smarge just told you that we need to communicate our value proposition, our promise of what Rotary is, and let it be known to people that Rotarians are people of action. You're ready. You will do this. But there are only 537 of you. You need help. You need to activate others in the organization. You need to activate those people that just joined a club in their local community. As governor, in your position, you have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to tell the ongoing, wonderful Rotary story to Rotarians, to spouses, to friends, to neighbors, as well as to the general public. You need to be able to communicate to others those same feelings, the same impressions, the same understandings that you're experiencing right now, and that probably drove you to take this job in the first place. How will you do this? Maybe you're a terrific speaker, and there are huge crowds that will come to hear your eloquence, your insight, your words of wisdom, and they'll be inspired to action. Perhaps you are a convincing writer, and every newsletter, every email, every post, every letter you send is extremely engaging, and your waiting public will be thrilled to read all that you write. Or the way you best communicate with Rotarians and others is through personal connections, club meetings, hallway chats, social receptions, and average Rotarians and their guests are moved by your magical persona and your passion for Rotary. Obviously, I'm being a little bit cynical. And I do hope that you both take advantage of every medium to effectively share Rotary's messages. But I'm here on this stage today to suggest that you put your attention, you put your energy, you put your expertise, you put your resources, you put your creativity and your messages into events, dynamic events that effectively share the Rotary story. Events can communicate powerfully. I know this personally. As a young, not very bright, and a little arrogant 32-year-old incoming Rotary Club president, I went to my first Rotary event, a multi-district President's-elect training seminar. It changed my life. Yes, I learned about the job I was about to take on, and I learned a lot about Rotary, but the real benefit of it were the people around me. Entrepreneurs, leaders, people with ideas. And I felt a little insecure around them, but I learned from them. I became a better leader because of them. I have to shamefully admit that I hadn't even taken the shrink wrapping off the beautiful binder that the governor-elect had sent me to learn how to be a club president. It was the event that did it for me. As an incoming president, I went to my first district conference. Club paid for me. I felt like I had to go. And it was pretty boring at first, but then they brought on the GS7 team. Remember the group study exchange teams? This one from England. And they were so entertaining. They were more so than most comedy shows I'd been to. And I started to feel engaged with this global village of Rotary. Later in that conference, they brought on the youth exchange students. My, it's embarrassing to see a grown man crying in public. They touched me, and I wanted more of it, and I wanted to influence the next generations. It wasn't in a newsletter. It wasn't in a video. It was the event that did it for me. Later that year, I went to a Rotary Foundation fundraising dinner, and I heard an orthopedic surgeon named Joe Serra tell stories about operating on crawlers in Malawi, polio victims. His words, his images, his demeanor inspired me. And they made me open my wallet. It didn't come from a governor's appeal. It didn't come from beautiful pictures in the Rotarian magazine. It was, the event. Yes, you need to consider how deeply you communicate all things Rotary. You need to prepare your speeches thoughtfully. You need to utilize every present outlet and platform to communicate digitally and try and break through that morass of noise. And you need to regularly connect personally with people in your districts and in other various audiences. However, every event you do has incredible power to accomplish its necessary objectives, whether those objectives are motivating, fundraising, training, or informing. You know, some people say in-person events are no longer important, but please remember that almost every company in almost every industry still uses events to push sales momentum, and here's another key, to deliver the latest news. In Rotary, we may not be unveiling a new iPhone at each of our events, but we do introduce improvements to our local and global products that keep Rotary thriving. For the next few minutes, I want to take you on an event odyssey to showcase some of their importance. Think of the events that you have seen or even produced in your life and their impact. The first stop on this tour is an event we all are familiar with. Do you remember your wedding? The answer to that is yes. Or maybe it's your son or daughter's wedding, like this one.
我们一起欢迎第一组家长，谢爸爸、谢妈妈。
What a memorable event. By the way, that was the double wedding of the son and daughter of past RI director and trustee Jackson Say and his wife Juliet. Weddings are events that balance legacy and imagination. Much of a wedding ceremony is tradition, but really what we're talking about is legacy, which we appreciate as important and necessary in Rotary also. But every young couple also wants to be imaginative and creative and contemporary. And we also want and have to have that for our programs. Our second step is a stop at the Rotary International Convention just a few months ago in Atlanta. I suspect you'll remember this event and the message given by this particular presenter with information that might just be etched in our lives and our minds forever.
Thank you. Well, John, I'm thrilled that Rotary's stepping up once again with that huge commitment to raise $50 million a year. Now that the end is in sight, we want to support you totally and work together to close this funding gap. So your goal of $50 million a year over the next 3 years, that'll bring $150 million. And I want to help with that, so our foundation will extend our 2-for-1 match to that full $50 million, and so Rotary will be able to raise. So in total, if you meet your $50 million, we'll do the match over the 3 years, $450 million. That's going to get it done.
That's what we get.
All right. Thank you.
Bill Gates. I know you think I'm going to point out the necessity of having a big name associated with your events, a star speaker, but that's not necessarily my message here. A better description of that event is focus and credibility. Our focus in polio is the finish line. This has been a marathon project, and we really want to see it end. We have a very credible partner that will help ensure our ultimate success, and the power of his presence as well as his message at this event will resonate with Rotarians all year long. Stop number 3 in our event tour is the following. Not all events center on a stage and an audience. More and more events include hands-on activities. And this event takes that concept to a much higher level.
Over 500 volunteers who came, supported us for this day, and were able to give back to the community in this area. If it wasn't for this tour, many of the Boys and Girls Clubs would not have received as much help and support that we were able to provide.
There's an often quoted phrase that says, people will rarely remember what you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Events like these make people feel like they're positively changing the world. Our final stop in the event Odyssey deals with one of the most powerful aspects of events, the ability to create. The best words I can come up with are feel and emotion. I can best illustrate this for you with a memorable event that you know of. Maybe it was a concert you went to with a favorite performer where talents, venue, sound, staging, costuming all come together to make an event never to be forgotten. For me, like this clip from the closing program of the 2016 International Convention in Seoul, Korea 2 years ago. I get goosebumps every time I see that clip. Why do I show you these 4 clips? Quite simply to underscore the power of getting together. The events you create provide a sense of legacy, imagination, focus, credibility, accomplishment, direction, and the feel and emotion that will ensure Rotary's future vitality. I know most of you have had sessions at GETS about planning events. And I know the next workshop is about how you promote people of action. But I beg you to invest your time and your energy into this huge communication tool. And I challenge you to consider the following 5 steps or subjects to guide your actions and your planning. First, establish your vision and your concept. You know, 2 workmen were sitting on a hill overlooking the construction of Disney World in 1967 when it was being built. Walt Disney had passed away a year earlier prior to the construction. It's a shame, said one workman to the other, that Mr. Disney isn't able to be here to see what he designed. The other said, he did see it. That's why it's here. See what you want to accomplish. That's the greatest starting point. Second, assemble and lead a competent team and establish a plan. You know, it seems to me that in any environment, teamwork consists of strong leadership, sense of purpose, calculated goals, and a certain faithful interaction between every part of the group. Review your own leadership style, both your assets and your liabilities, and augment what you lack in your own event planning skills with other members of your event team. Third, design a program. Start with a script, not a minute-to-minute. Use actual participants alongside experts and observers. Provide new information. Mix communication styles. Anticipate the needs of the audience. You have a blank canvas in front of you. Putting on an event is more like painting a picture or crafting a movie. Fourth, sell the meeting. Do a typical business plan. Come on, we're all business people. Apply your business sense. Track where we've been, where we're going, what we're doing wrong, what's our target market, what's our marketing scheme. Don't rely on simply pushing a button on your computer and broadcasting an email once in a while and think that anybody is reading it. Market it like you were selling something out of your own company. Fifth, manage the operations. Organizational charts, budgets, schedules, contracts, rehearsals, communication. We can't get away from it, folks. It's part of what makes an event work. It is often said, the devil is in the details. Finally, an event is ultimately a communication tool. Just like speeches, receptions, newsletters, emails, websites, social media. It's a powerful tool, maybe the most powerful tool of all your communication resources. Please know that your district's events, whether they're for motivating, fundraising, informing, or training, are or can be one of your best ways to tell your story about Rotary and activate that broader base of Rotarians in your district. This week, we could share the details you need to receive in a series of webinars. We could show you the breadth of our organization with some beautiful online videos of Rotary's great work. And we could call you to action with letters from President-elect Barry and Trustee Chair-elect Ron. But instead, we spent considerable resources to bring you and your partners here to be together, to experience the feel, the connectivity, and the force of our organization. Through your imagination, you will weave the elements of this week together into your own story of Rotary and your place in it. Walt Disney said, that's what we storytellers do. We restore order with imagination, and we instill hope again and again and again. Instill hope. That's what this event challenges you to do. Hope in the promise of Rotary for our members and those who are leaders who want to share ideas with us and take action. What will your events do for the Rotarians and their clubs in your district? How will you tell the Rotary story to those who will guide Rotary into the future, who will live our brand and entice people to act? Please shape it by sharing our dream through the medium of events. That dream of friendship, integrity, global diversity, leadership, and service. And go to it.